What's going on, guys? This is Justin coming here at you. UFC 140 taking place this Saturday, December 10th at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario. The big fight, the light heavyweight championship bout. We have Jon Jones versus Lyoto Machida, the Dragon. I think this is going to be a really good fight. However, I think that this is just another stepping stone for Jon Jones in his illustrious career so far. I think that Jon Jones is just going to pick him apart on the feet. If he wants to take him to the ground, I think it's going to be pretty easy for him to do that. I don't really know how Lyoto Machida would win this fight. Catching Jon Jones perhaps with a head kick, some combos or something. I don't know. Jon Jones is just going to have such a huge reach on Lyoto. It's going to be kind of unfair. I just don't see any way that Lyoto Machida can win this fight. So I'm taking Jon Jones to win this one and maintain his belt. Moving on to the heavyweight bout. We have Frank Mir versus Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira. Frank Mir coming off that victory off Roy Nelson. And Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira, last fight was Brendan Schaub. He knocked him out, it looks like. I will be taking Frank Mir to win this one. I think Frank Mir looked really good. Well, not really good, but he looked good in his fight against Big Country. He looked in probably the best shape that he's ever looked. He's put on a lot of muscle. He realized after fighting Lesnar twice that if you're going to be, 225, 230 pounds in the heavyweight division, you might as well put on, 25 to 30 pounds of extra muscle. And that's exactly what he did, not losing much of his cardio, putting on that extra muscle as well. I think Frank Mir will win this fight. He's really good on the feet. He has an excellent ground game. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira is. But I do see Frank Mir winning this fight. I think he will be able to pick him apart on the feet. He just has a better stand-up game, and he has really good wrestling as well. Moving on, we have in the light heavyweight division, Tito Ortiz versus Antônio Rogério Nogueira. I think this is going to be an interesting fight. Tito Ortiz coming back to the octagon. He beat Ryan Bader, but then he lost to Rashad Evans. He got, I don't want to say completely, but he got pretty torn up in the Rashad Evans fight. But I think that he will come back, and I am actually going to take him over Antônio Nogueira. Antonio's had a pretty rough last couple fights. He had a split decision against Jason Brills, which could have gone either way. He lost to Ryan Bader in the unanimous decision. He lost to Phil Davis, also unanimous decision. He's just kind of getting to that point in his career. Maybe so is Tito Ortiz, where they're kind of getting to that Randy Couture, Rich Franklin, Chuck Liddell type, where a couple of bad losses, and it could be the end of their career. Maybe not for Antonio. He hasn't been knocked out a whole lot in his career. Tito Ortiz has had more of the the big battles. But I will be taking Tito Ortiz to win this fight. I think that his wrestling will be able to dictate it, and in the last couple of fights that we've seen, his stand-up with Ryan Bader where he clipped him, which ended up giving him the submission. And against Rashad Evans, even though, I don't know if there's anybody that can just stand up with Rashad. Maybe Jon Jones. We'll see, though, after Jon Jones beats Lyoto. But I will be taking Tito to win that fight. In the welterweight bout, we have Claude Patrick versus Brian Ebersole. Claude Patrick has been on a tear. He won his first fight, lost his second fight, and since then has won 13 fights in a row. The last 3 of those coming in the UFC. Brian Ebersole, I think he's won the last 8 in a row as well. You know, he's just been on a complete tear. He's beat Chris Lytle. He's beat Dennis Hallman. You know, some pretty big names. I will be taking Brian Ebersole to win this fight. I think it's going to be a really good fight. Possibly fight of the night material. But I do see Brian Ebersole, you know, he has more experience fighting, more experienced fighters, and in bigger fights than Claude Patrick. I think as long as Brian Ebersole doesn't get caught with one of Claude's famous guillotines or rear nakeds, which I think that makes up like 60% of Patrick's wins are by guillotine or rear naked choke. I think that he will win this fight. And the last fight on the main card, we have the featherweight bout. Hominick coming off that loss to Jose Aldo against Chen Sung Jung. I know I just completely butchered that name, but I'll call him Jung. Jung, you know, he's lost 3 of his last 5. He lost to Leonard Garcia, lost to George Roop, and then beat Leonard Garcia in that crazy fight with the twister submission. I think this is going to be a good fight as well. I really do. But, you know, I think that Hominick will take this fight. You know, he has a lot of UFC experience, a lot of WEC experience. You know, he's a much more experienced fighter. And I think that his striking and his ground game will be able to take this one. I see Hominick winning this one by submission over Jung Chansung. So, that's all. I'm not going to do the prelim cards. Not going to do the Facebook cards. Look down the list. Not a lot of big... Oh, there's Dennis Hallman in the prelims. Mark Bocek. Nick Lentz. I guess there's some decent names in the prelims, but only going to pick the main card. So, hope you guys enjoy. Peace out.